So dear friends, we'll see the next topic of this unit, and that is nothing but AC equivalent model of that MOSFET. So the objectives are: what is MOSFET AC equivalent model, then various parameters related to the same, then the internal capacitances of MOSFET. So what is mean by that AC equivalent model? So see, in previous lecture we discussed about the working of that MOSFET by considering input, that is VGS, as a DC source. So instead of this input as a DC, if a AC signal is applied, then how this MOSFET will go on to behave? So that is nothing but its AC equivalent model, and the same equivalent model is shown over here. So just observe, within this rectangular box some things are given. We will discuss on that now. So see, you will observe gate to source, these two terminals are shown as open circuited. Why it is shown as open circuited? Because during the DC analysis, what we discuss, whenever we are increasing that VGG with the proper polarity, then there is always zero IG. Why that IG is zero? Because there is a SiO2 layer which is acting as an insulator between gate and the channel, or between gate and drain, between gate and source of that device, is it? So gate to source, if we consider these two terminals over here, so there is no flow of current, is it? And when the current is zero, when the resistance between that two terminal is infinite, and that's why gate to source terminal, it is shown as a infinite resistive terminals, is it? They are open circuited from each other as IG is zero, that means input current is zero. Now the second thing we discuss our previous lecture, that is during the transfer characteristic of MOSFET. So what we seen over there, after VGS equals to VT greater than VT, we are getting that output current like this, that is ID equals to K times VGS minus VT bracket square, is it? So after that VT, there is increase in ID, that things we discuss. So suppose we try to find out one parameter that is known as a transconductance, which is in between the output current and input voltage, between these 2 points. Suppose if we try to find out that parameter means what? The change in output with respect to change in input. What is output? Output is nothing but current, that is drain current, delta ID, is it, which is on y-axis, and divided by change in what? That is input voltage, as it is a voltage control device. So here we can say delta VGS, is it? So current divided by voltage, that is nothing but transconductance. Voltage divided by current, it is nothing but resistance, and current divided by voltage, it is nothing but transconductance. So it is denoted by GM. Remember this term. GM is nothing but transconductance of that transistor, is it? So the transconductance on that transfer characteristic we can determine across any 2 points by taking the change in current divided by change in respective voltage, is it? So that delta ID by delta VGS is nothing but transconductance, and hence here we can say how much will be the output current. Output current will be equals to GM into VGS simply, is it? So the same thing is shown over here, GM into VGS. This is nothing but a current, output current, that is ID, shown by this arrowhead, and by this symbol it is dependent. So this current source, it is a dependent current source, and how much it will be? It will be equals to GM into VGS. If we consider the AC components here, shown by capital letter, that is nothing but DC component. If it is shown by small letter, that VGS, it is considered as a AC components. So we will have that AC output current, that is small ID, we can say that will be equals to GM into VGS. Clear? Now whenever the output current will going on to flow through the device from drain to source through the from channel like this, is it? The direction of flow of current will be like this, from drain to source, because positive terminal of that VDD is connected to drain, and that's why current flow will be from drain to source, right? So there will be somewhat resistance between drain and source. So here we can say this is somewhat resistive path, that n type of regions, drain and source, will have their own resistance. Similarly, the induced channel again will have somewhat own resistance. So combinedly, the resistance offered between drain to source for the flow of current through it, that is id, is nothing but internal resistance. It is shown by small arrow. In few cases you might have observed it might be shown by small rd, one and the same. Small rd is nothing but drain resistance or drain to source resistance, or in few cases it will be shown as rds, that is the resistance between drain to source. So one and the same, ro or rd or that rds. Now as it is a current source, output side it is a current source, that is id na, the resistance it should be shown in parallel. Remember this one, as it is a current source id, its own resistance will be in parallel. For current source its own resistance is always in parallel, for voltage source its own resistance is always in series, is it? So accordingly you have to show that small arrow or small rd in parallel with that gm into vgs. So combinedly this is known as a AC equivalent model of MOSFET. This model we will require for the AC analysis in the next discussion. At that time also again I will go on to revise it. Now the next one, that is various parameters. Again the same things are shown over here, the same model is shown. See here, gate to source vgs, applied voltage, but there is no input current because of SiO2. Then output current, which is dependent, is shown as gm into vgs. Here that drain to source resistance is shown by small rd. Now in the data sheet few parameters are given for the transistor, like here the first one, that is admittance, output admittance, it is given in the data sheet instead of small rd. And from that admittance, by taking the reciprocal of the same, we can calculate the value of the small rd, this one, right? We require these components or these values during the AC analysis, that's why we will discuss it over here only. Then similarly the transconductance gm, it is provided in the data sheet as the forward transfer admittance YFS. Instead of gm it is mentioned as YFS. So gm is nothing but the magnitude of that forward transfer admittance, which is shown by YFS. See here, again by taking the reciprocal of that admittance YOS, we can calculate the value of small rd over here, is it? And again for this equation you are already familiar. While the DC analysis we already discussed about that gm. Again already I told that is delta id by delta vgs. Then how that delta id can be determined? So these equations I taken from that reference book, Donald Niemann. So just take the derivative of that delta id by delta vgs. You will have that gm equals to, you can derive this equation, you have to remember this equation, gm equals to twice of k vgsq minus vgs threshold. Now you might get confused about this q, vgsq. These things we will discuss in the next lecture. What is that quiescent value of gate to source voltage? Now the constant k can be determined from the given typical operating point on the specification sheet. Again that is data sheet of that transistor as k equals to this one, that k equals to kn by 2 w into l. These things are given in the data sheet, or that capital K it can be determined directly from these values. id on, vgs on and vt are given in the data sheet. So simply that k can be determined as id on divided by vgs on minus vt bracket square. By this equation you can simply determine. Here w is nothing but the width of channel, l is nothing but length of channel, then kn, that is the conduction parameter for negative charge carriers, that can be determined again by this equation. While our next lecture, that is MOSFET scaling, we will go on to discuss on these things. W already I told, that is the width of channel. Then mu n, that is the mobility of negative charge carrier. COX, that is the capacitance of oxide layer, that is SiO2 layer. And that capacitance can be determined again by using that formula epsilon OX divided by TOX. Epsilon OX, that is the permittivity of that oxide material, SiO2 material, and TOX, that is the thickness of that oxide layer. So from these given things we can determine the required value, that is our capital K, that is the conduction parameter of that MOSFET. Now the next important topic, that is parasitic elements, or we can call it as a parasitic capacitances or stray capacitances, or we can call it as a internal junction capacitances of MOSFET. While working with the high frequency, see this first shown diagram, this is for DC conditions. Input is shown as a VGG, that is in our hand. Whenever we will going to change its amplitude accordingly, that output current changes and everything that already we discussed. Then the later on we discuss about the AC equivalent model of that transistor. Whenever that input will be AC input, or that transistor is handling somewhat AC signal, then how it will going on to behave, these things we discussed in previous slide. Now if that transistor is operated with a very high frequency, then what will going on to happen? Then these internal capacitances starts to play their role. They will get developed over there at very high frequencies. These are not the externally connected capacitors, remember, these are internally generated capacitors. Generally we are showing that capacitor as one plate as a positive, another one as negatively charged. So you will observe over here, see between gate to drain, again there is SiO2 and one plate is at positive potential, at another side there is a negative charge carriers. So there may be a formation of capacitor in this region, is it, between that oxide layer and the channel. That capacitance, it is shown as a CGD. CGD stands for what? Capacitance between gate and drain, generated, developed, or internal junction capacitance. Similarly, next one may get generated across gate and source region, that is CGS. And third one that may get generated between drain and source, that is CDS. So all these capacitors, how they starts to play their role, that things we will go on to discuss in detail in the frequency response of amplifier. Okay, so you have to just remember over here what is that stray capacitances or parasitic capacitances or internal capacitances. Now the extra AC equivalent model becomes like this. See, generally we are showing that gate terminal as open circuited from the source as well as from the drain terminal, output terminal as well as that source terminal or common terminal. Right now it is shown as a open circuited, but whenever that capacitances will get induced, will get formed at high frequencies, that gate will not be 100% open from the source as well as from the output terminal. So see, you will observe there is a formation of this CGD in between gate and drain. Already I told over here that capacitor gets generated, it gets induced. So these two terminals will not going on to act now as a 100% open terminal. It will going on to short through this internally generated capacitor, that is CGD. Similarly, gate to source, again in general we are showing it as open circuited, but at high frequencies, as already I told, that capacitance gets generated, gets induced, it is shown over here, that is CGS. It is in between gate and source terminal, and between drain and source same thing over here, between drain and source, that CDS is shown, is it? So these are the, or how these capacitors will go on to affect the performance parameter of that MOSFET based amplifier, that we will go on to discuss in detail in the MOSFET amplifier circuits, is it? Now this point I covered from this reference book, that is Donnell and Niemann, already I told. So in summary, you might have understood now what is meant by that AC equivalent model, then various AC equivalent parameters of that MOSFET, and that internal capacitances or stray capacitances. So I think again you might have understood it. So thank you very much.